Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Good morning, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are. I've literally just taken delivery of my new release, which was showcased on a one-day special Thursday and Friday of this week. Sometimes things happen in manufacturing, you know, things are unavoidable, and sometimes there's a slight delay, so I've only just received my stamps, which is fine. It's just still a thrill to receive a new release, and I'm so chuffed with these. I try to improve with every release, you know. I try to sort of improve my layouts, you know, just tweak little bits and just try and make it so that they combine, interact and sort of work beautifully with my whole library of imagery. Now, let's just grab the iPad. Now, first of all, apologies if you can hear the beautiful birds singing outside. I've got my window open. I'm a redhead and I always get really hot. I'm also a woman of a certain age, in her 50s, and slightly gets warm I get warm at the slightest thing. I used to be cold all the time, so I've got the window open and the birds are singing beautifully. I don't edit that out because there's no point, because they sing continually. And I also have a fan on in the background because I'm boiling, so I'm working comfortably, so I hope you'll bear with me. And I often do my videos warts and all. I don't edit anything out, including mistakes. Now, these stamps have literally just arrived. I haven't inked them, I haven't done anything. But what I'm going to do is just do an off-the-cuff demo with the stamps, and I'll probably use the hydrangea. So what I'm going to do is, if you would like to buy any of the stamps, or you'd like to buy the bundle, whatever you can afford, if you go to createandcraft.com, just make sure you can see that, and you go to this icon here like this, and you go to Thursday where the show started on the 8th, and you go down to the 6 o'clock, and you can see there it says All and Create One Day Special. And in this show, you will see the bundle. The bundle is still available, and we've got singles. So if you would like to buy the bundle, you can just add that to basket. Let's just click on that. It's weird looking through the TV screen. And you can see, and the dispatch and everything, all the details are there. So you can see Janet Pring's demos, and you can see the bundle. Now, there are also, because obviously there was a slight delay in getting the stamps, and obviously the DT didn't get the stamps, the good news is there's always a positive, I feel. The positive news is they're going to be showcased again, because there's a little bit of stock left. So they're going to be showcased again on Friday, next Friday. And can Tracy think what date it is? Can she? Heck. Let's be professional and get my diary. So on the 16th. So on the 16th of June, which is next Friday, they're going to be available at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. So we'll be treated to some more demos from Janet Pring. And you know me, I will give you inspiration in my style. Janet Pring gives you inspiration in her style. So it's nice to see lots of different varieties. Now, this video isn't going to be a short video. One, I've got a cup of tea and I'm going to keep stopping. Mainly because I was cutting a shrub earlier on, and as I was cutting it, the dust, there must have been like a dust in the plant, and it kept getting to the back of my throat and I kept coughing. So I've got a cup of tea. Do you like how you get to know all my life stories? So what I'm going to do, it's going to be a long video. So if you don't want to watch a long video, you can switch off now, or you can fast forward through all the waffle that Tracy goes through. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each stamp individually. I'm not going to stamp each stamp because Janet Pring has already done that on the TV shows, and you can see that. Now, I'm absolutely delighted with these stamps. I'm delighted every time I do a release. When I started at the beginning with stamp number 1 or number 6 as it was, whatever stamp, I'm always proud of the designs. But as with everything, I've improved a little bit as I've been doing this for 7 years, and I've improved and tweaked, and I just love them. The detail in these stamps is phenomenal. I just love this. This is a hand-drawn flower. Have I got the hand drawing here? Let me just show you. Let me see if I've got it here. Oh, I nearly showed you something that's coming then. Oops, that I nearly forgot then. I showed you something that was coming and that isn't out. Oops, that was clever. Let me see if I can find the drawing. Of course, this was my cyclamen drawing. Let me just see if I can find the other one. Which one is it now? I wonder if it's in the other pile. Bear with me. There's always a pile of drawings to get through, and you can see that my fan is blowing everything everywhere. Right, let me just see without showing you everything else. Oh, come on, Tracy. Why is it never the drawing that you want first that you pick up? It's always 10th or... So they're not, those of you that don't like long videos will be sighing because Tracy's taking so long. Oh, come on. There we go. So just showing you my cyclamen drawing there, right? Let's bring these in so you can see my drawing here. So you've got this stamp set here and you can see my drawing here. So that's where they start. And then you can see the drawing of this one as well and where it starts. And I always often draw them quite big, but just so that you can see just where those drawings come. And you can see where that stamp comes from. Just adore them. Let's get a tape measure. My tape measure that Abs always laughs at because it's so huge, but there you go. Now, you've seen Janet stamp this, but maybe you haven't seen the shows yet. So this stamp set is 4.5 inches. So a really good size. And it's called Hexapetalistic. And I'm so chuffed with the stamp. And it's got beautiful sentiments on there. Well, I think they are. Feed the soul, nurture a garden. Plant a garden, plant happiness. And trust me, those apply to me so much. They really do. As somebody who has suffered with depression, that's exactly what the garden does. Garden adds life to your years. Too true. Beauty surrounds us. Create your own magic. Big hug. So there's some lovely sentiments on there. Just grabbing another drink. Right. So this is Hexapetalistic. And it's an A5 stamp set. Now this one here, that's about 3.5 inches. That one alone. So really good size stamps. And this one, I think it's stunning. It's 3.75 inches. I think that is absolutely stunning. I just adore it. And I love this one too. What size is that one from top to bottom? Again, you know, you say that's the smallest image, or as they say on TV, oh, this is the small part of the image. That's still 3 inches. It's not exactly diddy. It still packs a punch. Just adore it. Absolutely adore that stamp. Now, this stamp sold out individually, but it's available in the bundle. But I absolutely love that. Right. Let's go now to the A6 stamps. And as you can see, I've not opened them. They're not, I love it when they're like this. I just want to stroke them. I'm so weird. Now we've got the anemone. No. You know, I just want to do what they did on TV and start making the sound effects. I love the beautiful anemone. And I get requests from a lot of my wonderful followers who are so supportive. Honestly, I can't believe it. I didn't even announce that there was a new release until Wednesday because we were very up in the air whether the products were going to arrive. And you know, over 70% of the stock went, and my followers didn't even know until the Wednesday. Just such an amazing support, and it's something that I truly appreciate. It's very easy to say thank you, but sometimes it just isn't enough, because without supporters or your followers or people that like your work, I wouldn't exist. Because it's okay designing stamps, but if nobody purchases them, well, you don't exist, and that's the truth of it. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for supporting me. And support doesn't have to just be purchases. It can be sharing a video. It can be commenting on a piece of artwork. That's still support. And that allows me to do what I'm doing for as long as I've been doing it. So thank you very much. We've then got the anemone, which I just love it. I just love this. And this has got a smaller circle. This is an A6 stamp set, because I like to cater for all sizes of project. This says spread a little happiness, and we've got that anemone there. But I don't like the stamps necessarily to be too small if I want them to pack a punch. That is 5 inches nearly. Now that is a good size stamp. Now the smaller anemone, which is drawn slightly different, is about 3.5 inches, and the circle is coming up to 1 3/4. Now what you have to remember is these are my take on a floral. You know, I'm not a botanic artist. I don't draw them that way. I draw them to be you know, sort of doodly, and my take on them with a slight twist, with a little bit of quirkiness. You know, I don't want my stamps to look like everybody else's, or else there's no point, because then you know, well, you won't be interested in buying them if they look the same as everybody else's. So I like to add a touch of Tracyism to them. And there's just some little dots on here as well, which I absolutely adore. A little bit of text. Just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, you can see these in detail on the shows on Create and Craft. And I will demo. I'm going to demo with this one, I think, because this wasn't used as much. And there's more potential to this than, you know, might be first realised. So this is collect beautiful moments here in a long font in with it, and it's a whole stamp as it is, but that doesn't mean you can't split it apart. And it's got lots of beautiful detail, and this, I think that's stunning, and we're going to use that one. Now the next ones are all A7, but I like A7s to do something, not just an A7 for the sake of doing an A7 because you're trying to fill a selection, trying to fill a bundle. That I'm not interested in that. They have to be worthwhile. Now this stamp set was brought about because my lovely Facebook friend Lucy Edmondson asked if I could do the tag that I've done with my alphabet and other things, alphabet and my little numbers. Have I got one of them here? Don't know whether I have actually. Probably haven't got it showing. Let's have a look. Do you know when you look at a stamp set and you think, what are you looking for, Tracy? There we go. So I've done lots with this tag shape. So I've done these little tags with flowers, like so, with the little flower images, and they've got the tag shape with little numbers, and I've got a tagged alphabet as well. Let me just grab that as well. Do you know, I've got stamps everywhere. There we go. No, that's not the one. Unbelievable. You can't make it up, can you? Where's the tagged alphabet? There we go. Right. So also, and this is why the video takes a little bit longer when you go through it in detail. And you can't really go through this detail on the TV. So I've got my tagged alphabet, and you've got the small alphabets with the A to Z on there, and it's got sentiments as well. And to coordinate with that, I was asked for the numbers, so I did the numbers. And then I thought, well, I can't just do numbers, so I added a couple of other little designs, a little cyclamen, eryngium, helenium, and a little blank one there that you can just add as well. And what Lucy asked for is a tag maybe that we can use, like sort of if you were sending a gift to somebody, or you wanted to add it to the envelope or something like that. And what I've done, I've created, I mean, this tag is I mean, you don't want it too huge. This tag is in between 3.5 and 3. No, you're talking rubbish, Tracy. It's nearly 3.5 inches. So it's nearly 3.5 inches, and in width, it's 2 inches. So a good sized tag, and the idea is I've added you a little bit of detail on there, so it's still got my style in there, but you can add a little part of a flower, you can add the hare, you can add the mouse, you can add the pheasant. So there's little things that you can add in there, and you've got your to and your from. So that's the first A7. And then, I absolutely adore how this has come out. Now, this is the Garden Times, and it's the acorn, and it's got part of the flower in from this image, which is the A5 image. So that if you want to add the flower and the acorn, you can add them together if you wish, but I think that is gorgeous, just gorgeous. Now I'm just going to warn you again, this is a long session. I'm going to make something as well. So, you know, that is coming up to 4 inches, that stamp. But it's got little acorns on there you can use. I just adore it. Absolutely adore that. And I'm so chuffed how it's come out. And likewise with these, the other A7 is Windy Willows. And this bird is going to appear again. So it's going to go with other things. These stamps are going to go with future releases, is all I'm going to say. And it also goes beautifully with my stencil. Let me just see if we can get that out for you. It goes beautifully with this stencil 162 Undergrowth. Now, I like my products to all coordinate, work with each other all the way throughout the library of imagery. And that's super important to me. So this one, the Windy Willows, is just, again, a stunning image. And again, the same size as this one, it's an A7. It's got a little clock in there. And I've got a clock image in my release that I'll be using with this leaf as well. I just love it. What we got, take time to enjoy the beauty around you, is in there, blowing in the wind. So you can use those little sentiments as well. And then again, the fourth A7, I just adore this, is Leaf is Better. And it's got 2 butterflies in there. And as you've probably guessed, you can cut that one out and match it up with that one, or that one with that one, so that it creates a whole butterfly. You've also got the tiny details there, and you've got Life is Better in the garden and amongst the leaves. They're very tiny sentiments that are mixed in with the stamp, but these I just adore. Absolutely adore them. So I'm so thrilled with those. I'm thrilled with them all. Do you know, I love leaving them like that. I don't want to open them. They're so nice. I want a set I can just stroke. Anyway, now I've got no products out. I've had to use what's on my desk. I haven't got anything around me, so I'm just going to have to use what I've got. So I've already got this card cut because I was going to do something else, and then these arrived in the post. So I'm using Pink Frog smooth card, and this is 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches. I've got a black mat that is 1/4 of an inch bigger, and then I've got a card blank that is 5 by 7 inches. Let's make sure that is 5 by 7 inches. Yes, it is. Before, right, let's just have a scrap of card ready. Okay, so what we're going to do is open the stamp as I always do. Okay, so it's opening brand new, and this is what I do every time. So I open the stamp, I get rid of this plastic wrapping, and then what I do, let me just see if I can find them. I grab myself an A6 little wallet with a press stud, And what I do is I just fold this over slightly, just so that I can fit that in there. And then I can fit this in here, and I've just got it all ready for when I'm packing everything together. I then just remove the acetate. Now what you've got is a very high quality photopolymer stamp. So it's just been manufactured. So when you touch it like there, look, it's sticky. That's part of the manufacturing process. It's sticky. So you've got your acetate underneath. Let's put the white card underneath there, and you can see it's got the design on the acetate. Okay. So what we're going to do is, as I've said, I've got nothing out. So pull your acetate, not your stamp. Okay. Let's just place this down. So apologies, there will be a lot of, you know, fetching things because they've literally just arrived. So I've then got this stamp onto my acrylic block, and I'm using a bigger acrylic block than I actually need, mainly because if I put this on an A6 acrylic block, I haven't got much room to do that levering, to lever the image, just so that I can get the center area. Right, now as you know, well, hopefully most of you know, but some of you may not, I often spend some time priming my stamps. Now there's not even time to do that. So what I normally do if I'm priming them, let's get rid of some of that ink. First of all, let's have a look at the image. Just stunning in its own right, like so. Just stunning. I don't know what size this piece of card is. Let's see if it's the same size as that one. Oh, it is. That was very lucky. Right. So I can see my stamp image here. So let's do something different than was done on the TV show. So the first thing I will do is I'll take my stamp and I will ink all over with a nice juicy VersaFine Clair ink. Now what I will normally do is I will let that ink dry on there, just so it gives it a coating, because you've got that stickiness on there. So I will go away, I'll have a brew, faff around doing other jobs around the house, let's be honest, and I will let that dry on there. And you know when it's dry because it's quite glossy and shiny at the moment. And then I'll come back and I'll ink it again, and then I'll stamp it onto scrap paper, and then I'll ink it a third time and stamp it onto scrap paper again, and then it's ready, it's primed. So I always let the first layer dry. Obviously I haven't got that luxury at the moment, so let's grab a piece of copy paper. And I'm showing you what happens when I get the stamps at home, and it's impossible to do this on TV now because there's such little time to demo. So especially if you're going to go into great detail. So what I'm going to do is just ink that again. I've got a fan in the room, so that will dry the ink off a little bit. But let's pick this up. And then I'm just going to stamp this onto copy of paper. Let's make sure you can see that. And obviously I'm not using this image. This is just as I'm priming it a little bit because I've not used the stamp. But when I'm stamping anyway, I always let that ink just sit on there because I'm going to use part of the image. So I'm going to mask off some of the image. So I'm going to make sure that that ink is all off there. But I'm doing this as if you've used the stamp several times so that you know what to do. So now, because I've got the A5 acrylic block, it gives me space to put my hands around the acrylic block and allows me to lift so that especially with a part of a silhouette image, it just allows me to lever that. Now you can see I didn't really prime this, and it's still a beautiful image. So let's pretend I've been using this for 6 months and it's had lots of ink on it and everything. So what I'm going to do is, if I'd just picked it out of the drawer, I would just make sure that there's most of the ink is off there. As you can see, that number 2, doesn't it look good as a second generation? You see, you don't get shown this on TV because they can't go into this in much detail, but look at the second generation print of the number 2. Fantastic. It looks brilliant, even as a second generation print. But what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to remove most of the ink from the stamp on this occasion. Look at that, 3rd generation. I could still use that in a project in the background. And this is why I do these stamps sometimes. Right, what I want to do now is I want to use the hydrangea on its own. Well, Tracy, why didn't you put the hydrangea in an A6 stamp and the number 2 in an A6 stamp? Well, that'll cost you twice as much. So I try to cram in as much as I can. So what I'm going to do, unlike what I normally do, is I'm actually going to clean this half of the stamp. Okay, so I'm just wiping over this half of the stamp. I never clean the stamp really, to be honest, only if I'm doing this technique. But you know, it's designed to be used as a whole. You can cut it up, so you could stamp the whole thing and tear around. Okay, so what I mean is, let me just, if you don't want to do it this way, you can also tear around your image like so and use it as 2 separates like this, or even create a project with it torn like that. Every time I do something, it always inspires me to do something else. But even on that copier paper is absorbent, as you know. I still got a bit of black ink from me, and that's why I always say to you that VersaFine Claire has got a really good open time. So I'm cleaning that half of the stamp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my copier paper and just blot that part of the stamp. Okay, and let's just blot that part of the stamp as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to decide where my hydrangea is going, and what I want to do is show you a very, very simple card. It's not about complicated process, it's just something very simple. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let's grab, what colours have I got here? What colours have I got? Let me think. Do I want blues or do I want pinks? Let's go blues. Let's move this out of the way. Right, what do I want? Shall I go pink? Oh, good grief, Tracy, make your mind up. So I'm going to go shaded lilac. Do I want shaded lilac? Do I want... Yeah, let me... Oh, I can't make my mind up. Let's go. Can't, yeah, Mermaid Lagoon. Yeah, I'm going to be here for a week. I just thought I'd let you know. Do I want blue and green, or do I want... Tracy's going to be here for a week. She can't make her mind up. Blue. No. Sorry, we're changing our mind. We're going to go pink, which are the colours that I'm using in... I'm doing a live workshop on the 25th of June. I'll give you details of that. So what I'm going to do is, I think we'll use Victorian velvet. Let's grab a little piece of cut and dry foam. And this is why, obviously, you can tell the stamps have just arrived. And this is exactly what happens when stamps just arrive. You know, I faff a little bit. Right, so what I'm going to do is grab any of your circle templates or your circle dies, or draw around a jar and decide on a circle. So I'm going to, this is about 2, what's this circle? It's about 2 3/4 inches. So for me, it's very difficult for me when I first get stamps, because I'm so excited by the stamps that I just want to show you everything at once. And that's impossible, but I do it every time. I just want to show you everything all in one go. I'd love to just have a day when I get a new release and all of you come and join me in a group or something, and I just go through the new release and just spend the whole day doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm using the Victorian velvet, and I'm just going to add the Victorian velvet just around. I'm just adding a little bit of that Victorian velvet. So that's all I've got. I've got a circle. Trust me, you don't even have to have the circle. You can just go round in a circle. That's absolutely fine. Right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my low tack tape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off the area or areas that I don't want. So I'm going to mask off this. Now, I've done it this way, it makes it cheaper for you. Rather than create 2 A6 stamps for the sake of creating 2 A6 stamps, and then you spend twice as much. But I like my stamps to pack a punch, and that's why I like it together as well, because it's a beautiful design when it's stamped all together. So I'm going to mask off that sentiment. Do we want that? Yes, I think we do. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do then, let's just turn the fan off a bit, just so I can hear myself think. I'm going to use my VersaFine Clair, and I'm making sure it's one that is my most up-to-date one, ink pad. And I'm going to use a really good, really give it a really good inking. Now what I can do is, because I've got it masked off, I don't have to worry about hitting that area because it's masked off. So I can give it a really good inking and not think, oh, I've hit the other area. No, I haven't. Because then I can remove this, and let's just put that in the bin. One thing you need to remember is that that low tack tape has obviously got the, I think that's from before, has got that VersaFine Clair ink on there, so just be aware you don't put your fingers all over it. I can't judge whether that was from before. Right, so now I've got my hydrangea, and I can place this just there. Okay, and what I can do is I can just press the stamp a little bit just over that area, just stamp. And again, I'm just going to repeat, this is going to be a long session. Just add that. And you can see, because I've not used the stamp much, I'm really giving it time to soak in there. So I'm just giving that time just to do what it needs to do. And then I'm going to lift that up a couple of times, just so that we've got that image. Just beautiful. just beautiful. Now, for me, I'm going to just add a little bit of water just to that, and I'm going to let it do its thing. So what I'm going to do then is try and grab a scrap. Let's move these drawings. I've got my drawings lying all over the floor, and I don't really want to spoil those. It's so easy to do. Right. Now, I hope you find these sessions useful. Sometimes I just like to, you know, spend a little bit of time just explaining things. Pick it up, Tracy. Right. Ink. So I'm going to take you see, when you ink it, you instantly get that area. And I don't know why I'm wiping it off for, because it's only to cut things out. But you can see you instantly get that area, or you get parts of the sentiment. And to be honest, I hardly touched that. Right, so I'm just going to give that a little bit of a blot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to just pick a couple of these just to cut out, just to give me a little bit of dimension. And what I'm trying to do is I'm fully aware, you know, Janet's demoed, so what I'm trying to do is do something completely different in my style. Now, with the hydrangeas, they often flower a little bit later in the year. Now, hydrangeas are renowned for being dictated in colour by the soil, and whether the soil is alkaline, acid, you know, you get pink hydrangeas and blue hydrangeas, slightly purple, and they can be dictated, their colour can be dictated depending on your soil. However, I'm a big fan of the white hydrangeas, and the hydrangeas that are a bit more, not quite as round, but slightly more elongated, like this one. I'm a big fan of those. I'm also a big fan of the white, so the white ones I'm a super fan of. I've got loads of white ones, and I'm a huge fan of the green ones. What happens is the hydrangeas in my garden, some of them start off like white with a tinge of green, and then as they age they go to pink. And this is what I adore about the hydrangea, the fact that there's so many varieties. Don't think that, you know, you've only got the blue and the pink, because no, you haven't. You've also got some hydrangeas that are elongated in shape. They're not necessarily those round, really sort of big heads. Some of them are also elongated as well. So you can change the shape of your hydrangea if you want as well, by making it slightly more elongated. But if you look at the hydrangea and you get close in, you see it's got lots of little petals. It's just a beautiful, and I do love the sort of limey green ones. They're just gorgeous. So I'm just going to, so what my YouTube is also a way of touching base with you. It's important that for me as a designer that, you know, I show you how I use. Doesn't mean you have to use them in exactly the same way, but obviously it's important that I give you ideas. Let's grab a little bit of kitchen roll. And I'm just going to blot that dry. Just give that a blot. I don't think I've got any green pencils out, which is not very good, Tracy. So what I'm going to do is, where are we? Let's take the leaves. We've got enough room on there. That card isn't very clean. So let's take, I will probably cut some more of them out. Let's take our leaves. Just so we can add a little bit of dimension to that. And we will grab another piece of card and we will actually use the other half as well. So this is probably a video to watch when you've got plenty of time, unless you know, you can fast forward the bits that you don't need. So I'm just going to cut these leaves out. Go. Let's just grab these leaves. So I just want that one. And often when the stamps arrive, I spend a lot of time faffing with designs. Oh, and they don't all go right. There's some I look at them and I think, what the heck have you done? So they don't all go as planned. Don't want that one. Just cut around that flower a bit. There we go. And I'm terrible because sometimes I can't help but talk to myself. And I didn't take note where I'd cut them all from. Right, let's just grab some pencils. And what I'm hoping is that there is a green in the new colours that I purchased. So let's use that one and that one. Quite like the bit of turquoise in that one. A little bit of dark as well. Right, there we go. So I'm just going to, let's see what greens I've got. I've got Olivine 1340, mint leaf. Hey, mint leaf. Oh, yeah, Olivine 1340, mint leaf 1240, and jungle green 1410. Oh, good grief. Them numbers mess with me head. So I'm just going to add a little bit of colour to my leaf. And it has got the word hydrangea just in there. Let's just add. And then I'm going to take this one. Looks, yeah, it's sort of like a sagey colour, isn't it? So let's just add a little bit of that. It's sort of got a turquoise hint to it. So just that. And we'll add a little bit of the darker colour, which is the Olivine, just down the centre. Let's grab our brush, which who knows what colours it's had on. At least with the YouTube videos, you can pause the videos and come back at any time. I think that's one advantage with them. Right, let's pick up that. I'm going to go push that colour into the centre. You need to make sure that your card will allow you to move that colour. There we go. I want to leave a little bit of white area. Might go in with a little bit more dark. So I'm just adding, again, the first colour. These are Inktense pencils, which are permanent when dry. This is Jungle Green 1410. So I'm starting with the Jungle Green. And then I go and add a little bit of Mint Leaf. A little bit of that as well. And then just a touch of the Olivine, which is the darker colour. So I don't know why I don't just colour them all at the same time, Tracy, and just make it easier. So let's start with the right colour. So we start with the Jungle Green, then I go to the Mint Leaf, and then I add the Olivine, which is slightly darker. Right, and then we can just blend those colours out. And you hardly need to touch the colour, and it just comes to life. Right, there we go. And then I'm just going to just bend these a little bit. Was that one? Yeah, just so it comes to life a little bit more. But what we should decide is, before we add these leaves, let's pinch them so that they've all got a little bit of life and they don't look flat and lifeless. Let's just add a little bit of life. What we need to do then is just check if we want to add any stamping to the background. So what did I do with all the new stamps? You can guess it. What I did with all the new stamps is just dump them all underneath each other. So what I do is then I look at my stamps and think, well, just because it's got a focal image on doesn't mean I can't use some of the background elements. So what I do again is I take out the new stamp. A lot of you keep them in the plastic, which is perfect. What I tend to do is, the time they were released, I keep them in number order, but say that I've got 4 A7s released at the same time, they will all go in this one wallet because they were all released at the same time. Right, so I've got this acorn stamp. Now, the hydrangeas flower later on in the year, so I could also add acorns to it as well if I wish. So let's just add a grey ink. And what I tend to do is when I receive a stamp, spit your words out, Tracy, is I'll just test what it looks like on a piece of card that you can't see. I'll just test what that text looks like, and it's lovely, just lovely. So I always do that. I always test that it's what I'm looking for. And what I can do, what's that word? Yeah. Make sure I've not got it on the acorn. And then I just have a look. And what you can do is you can extend your collage with different stamps, meaning that then your design looks completely different. absolutely beautiful. So I've got a little bit of a garden there. So let's add a little bit more there. So I'm using the same area, and yes, when I'm at home on my own, I talk to myself. It has to be done. I'm just going to add a little bit of the garden text there. Just so that that balances out this. But nobody knows that this didn't come with this hydrangea stamp. You're making your own collage. So nobody knows that you didn't have that at the time. Right. And you can hear me grabbing ink pads out of my drawer. And I'm grabbing the hickory smoke. And a lot of my cards take me a long time because I like to take pride in them, but they also take twice as long when the stamps have just arrived, because the stamps speak to me, the stamps talk to me. And also I have several designs in mind when I release the stamps, but then when I go and do the design, things change, because that's where creativity takes you. So I'm just going to add some grey just around our design. And this is what creativity is all about, is buying and investing in stamps that inspire you. They might not inspire you initially, but suddenly you see a design and it suddenly sparks an interest. That's what happens. It's no different than when you see a wallpaper. You know, you look at it sometimes and think, oh, I wouldn't have that in my house. But then you suddenly see it in a different context and you think, oh, actually, that's beautiful. But as a designer, you've got to have some of that forethought beforehand. You've got to have a vision that things are going to work. In my view anyway, you can't just chuck things out and expect people to get it. They don't necessarily get it. You have to educate and show what you were thinking. And then the customers are brilliant, because they do something entirely different and then inspire you as the designer, which is what it's all about. So what I'm doing is I'm just going around. Now the hydrangea would work beautiful for clean and simple cards as well as multi-layered cards. Let's add a little bit more water, and I'm going to hold this up once I've finished. There also, with your YouTube channels, there has to be somewhere where I can waffle and I can talk to you, because where else, if I can't do it on my own channels, where else can I do it and go into great detail? So it's important for me as a designer to be able to do that. A little bit of an alien there, just climbing along the page. There we go. You've also got to be prepared to walk away from a design as well. If you're not happy with it, you need to be able to walk away and then come back to it again. You've also got to be prepared that if you want depth, etc. in a design, you've got to be prepared to just add a little bit more effort. Just to give that design the time it deserves. Let's just get round these. Obviously I'm going to add the leaves on top. So I'm just adding a little bit more depth just around the edge of the leaves. just so that it'll stand out a little bit more. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to that water and just dragging that out. Now, don't try to do this if you haven't got the right card. Card is so important. It allows you to do what you need to do with ease. And let's just go around this a little bit more. And you can see I tend to do a little bit at a time. I don't tend to do too much at a time. You can also dab your card if you find that you're adding too much. It's also a good idea that if, say, you've been working with the card quite a lot, to give your card some time to rest, because adding layers of colour is a lot easier if you give it time to rest. Let's just go round. So Janet will be showcasing these stamps once again next Friday the 16th. Just so that you can see it's got some darker shades on there. And I'll decide if I want to add some more afterwards, but I don't want to work in that mess. So let's grab our leaves and just add a little bit of dimension to the leaves. And what I'm going to do is just add, which one was this one now? Not that it really matters. There was one I cut round a flower. There we go. So I'm just going to add it to the top edge, the adhesive, just so that that really sticks up. Just at this top edge here, so that that just ends up with more life. I think that's still got a bit of moisture in. Right, let's grab, I've now got my polychromo pencils. Please just use whatever pencils you get. What colour have I got in here? In my, I'm just going to use my polychromos because they're just a tiny flower. So I've got, oh, do you know, I can't read these. It's Rosa, honestly, they make it so small. It's like you need a magnifying glass every single time. Right. This one is Pink Madder Lake, 9201. Is it 029? 129. These are the colours I'm using in the live workshop as well. Magenta. Magenta 9201 133. But yes, so I'm doing a live workshop. So just use any pencils because I'm not being funny. You're only going to add a touch of colour to these. It's you know, you're not going for a degree in colouring when the flowers are this small. So I'm doing a live class. It's £10 on the 25th of June. I'll show you the cards we're creating at the end of the video. Right, let's just... So I'm just adding a touch of colour to these. Just a touch. And then I can add a touch of the magenta. You hardly need to touch the flower. You can just add a little touch of that colour. Some hydrangeas are full on pow colour. Other hydrangeas are just a touch of colour. Now we don't want this 3D glue because the flowers are too small. Right, fasten your lid, Tracy. Do I have my little tweezers anywhere? Is that them? So you can grab a little tweezer. I can just pick up my flower, just add a little bit of adhesive. I don't need much, and I only want to stick the centre. Now you're not going for these to be lined up on the top of any others. You're just going to add them randomly, just to give a little bit of dimension. You're just adding them randomly because you've got the flowers in the background. Just bend the petal. Now you don't have to do this, you can just colour. And just add oh, that's it, that one doesn't even stay there because I just picked it up. So I've got the tweezers, and you can just bend those flowers a little bit, and I'm just going to add the adhesive just in the centre. So what I'm doing is I'm just adding a touch of adhesive in the centre. And I'm just going to take my time just to now develop a few more of those flowers, just to give it some more depth. But I just want to show you something. Where are we going? Right, so you can do it that way, or I like to show you lots of different ways. So you can give it dimension that way, or where's my card? Let's put the fan back on because we're warm. Let's take our hydrangea. So this is going to be a really long session. It's as if I'm doing a live with you and I'm just creating, just for the sake of creating. There we go. So let's just blot that. And you're all probably in your garden enjoying yourselves. So I'm just giving that a little bit of a blot. And what I'm going to do now is just cut the actual hydrangea head out. So I wanted to show you that you can do individually if you want to add dimension, or, and obviously you don't have to cut out, you can just cut it, you can just colour it and leave it on the card. But it's important that I show you lots of different ways. I'm just cutting this out, and you don't have to be precise like I am. If you want to, you can just tear around it. Or, I tell you what, it also looks nice if you stamp it onto like sort of little ATCs as well. So this is a doddle. Seriously, a doddle. Cutting it out this way. So I've shown you how you can colour it if you don't want to use coloured pencils, by just adding the colour underneath. And the reason it's important for me to do this is because, you know, there isn't the time on the demonstrations on the TV, and plus there's always information I need to get across that isn't mentioned on the TV. So let's just... There we go. So now got your little flower head, and you can cut into areas as well, just so that some of it moves as well, so you can cut into areas. So what I'm going to do is look for the pencils, and I'm just going to add a little bit. I don't want to do a full-on on this occasion. There will be occasions where I just go in and do every little flower, but I need to fit in as much as possible in this video. So what I'm doing is I'm representing the flowers in my garden, and the flower in my garden, the hydrangea, is a very delicate pink. But what happens is, as it gets nearer to autumn, it takes some darker tones. So it starts off green, very sort of subtle touches of green and with touches of pink. And then as the autumn approaches, there's some little magenta touches in areas. So just add a little bit of that magenta. Just to add a little bit of darkness. So it's great because you can just touch the flowers. And obviously those of you that have got your alcohol markers can use your alcohol markers just to add a little bit more of that colour. And then what I'm going to do is just so it just scrunch it a little bit. I think I'm just going to scrunch it so that I break the fibres up on the card. Scrunch that up, just so it's scrunched up a little bit. That's better. You see, I've shown you different ways. You can add it little like that, but I'm going to add it this way. And I've scrunched it to give it a little bit more life. And I'm then going to add my cotton. Woo! Add a little bit of that cotton. So I've got a nice clump of cotton there. That's beautiful. And then I'm going to use my pin flare or your ultra thick gel medium, just to add a nice dollop of that. Now you're not looking for perfection lining up. Don't stress about that. I don't want you stressing about designing. You know, just make it as easy as possible on yourself. Unlike Tracy that puts her tweezers down and can't find a thing. It amazes me because there's not... Did I put them back in there? Who knows? I've got the... Look, I've got that, the tweezers. Who knows where the tweezers are? There's that much on my desk. So what I'm going to do then is let's just add some white splatters. Now don't forget, you can add as much colour as you wish. And what you can do is also, when you've scrunched it like this and you've got it like this, you can also add more flowers on top. So you can make it as flouncy as you want. So it's entirely up to you. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take this acorn stamp. I'm going to take some of these little acorns. I'm using my black ink, my black Nocturne ink. Not enough card. Let's see if I can just get a good image here. There we go, and then two there. There we go. And don't worry, you know when you've got these silhouette stamps, especially the smaller ones, don't worry if it's not perfect, because it's nature. You know, nothing is perfect. It's perfect in its own right, but you just don't have to worry about that. Let's just cut this out. And it's up to you whether you leave a white border or you don't. What I'm just going, we'll do that one afterwards. So we've got these, let's cut, I think we'd like, of course I'm going to like an odd number. And just cut that out. Little acorn there. I like how the fan's blowing everything all over the place, so I want one more acorn. But I class these as your embellishment pieces as well. I know you've got an A7 stamp that you know you'll want to stamp out because it's beautiful, but also remember, if you don't use the stamp in its entirety all the time, you can use some of the bits to cut out. And sometimes that's fun as well. Right, let's just grab the gel pen and let's just add a little thing over there and little, add that there. There we go. So I'm just adding a few little touches of white. And what I can do is I can add my little acorns. I can decide on the arrangement. So let's, and if I'm unsure of an arrangement, sometimes I like to use a glue that's you can move, that's not permanent in 30 seconds, you know, and it's stuck it rigid, because then it allows me to move things slightly if I'm not quite happy. There. And I often talk to pieces of card as well, because that's just me all over. So let's just add that there. I'm just bending them slightly just to give a little bit of movement. And you can see I sort of place them first and then decide where they're going. So we go back to the hydrangea stamp. It's got collect beautiful moments, and it's also got the word hydrangea. So let's stamp out our wording. I'm going to use the black ink for that. So I've got the hydrangea word in very tiny text just in the leaf, which is beautiful for an embellishment piece. There we go, hydrangea. And then I'm just going to add collect beautiful moments. Can't make my mind up what I'm using, you see. So collect beautiful moments, and you can see how long it's taken me. I mean, I know I've waffled somewhat as well, but you can see that obviously when something first arrives, it takes a little bit of time to think about where you're going. I like the size of this collect beautiful moments. It's not too bulky and cumbersome. I just like the size of the font. There we go. That's it. going to put Collect Beautiful Moments just there, like that. So I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive, which I can't pick up. I'm just going to add a little bit here, like so. And I was going to create 2 cards, but what I'll do is I'll stamp the number, the 2 out, and what I'll do is we can carry on with that card in another video, another day, because obviously if I make it too long, you're just going to lose interest. There we go. Let's just remove any adhesive. So we've got Collect Beautiful Moments, and then the hydrangea, which is very subtle because it's inside the leaf, so you can just see that it says hydrangea. But sometimes I don't want, if the text isn't quite right, you know, it doesn't quite fit in with the stamp set, sometimes I don't want to add necessarily the word hydrangea, so I've just hidden it in the leaf. Some pick, and of course you two will faff as much as me. So I've got the word hydrangea, and I'm just going to add a bit of adhesive, which I can't see, just here on top of the little acorn. And then what I'm going to do, turn the fan off again. I'm going to take my garden she wrote from my previous release. It was only released in May. And I'm going to use the H from there. I can't, you'd laugh if you saw my desk, honestly. It is horrendous. You can always tell when I've enjoyed doing something when there's stuff everywhere. So add that H. And what you can do is you can bookmark or whatever this page, and then you can come back to it if you get any of the stamps. Right. Move that out of the way. So I'm going to cut that out. Tell you what, you turn the fan off and it's like, oh. There we go. So I've got the H, well, you guessed it, so it can be for hydrangea. And I'm just going to use the same colours. And what I'm doing with my polychromos is I'm very, very lightly just going over there. Please remember to blot your letter before you go in with your pencils, so that you don't pick up too much of that ink in your colouring. So I'm just blending the colour very lightly. I'm literally hardly touching. I'm just blending very lightly. And then I'm just adding a little bit more of the magenta. Don't break the card down too much. You break those fibres down too much, it'll go shiny, and then you've got nowhere to go. And I only want a touch of colour, just to add I want it to sort of be tucked in. There we go, for hydrangea. There we go. So I want it to sort of be tucked into my design. I don't want it to overpower the rest of the design. So I'm sort of going to tuck it into there, so you can see that, you know, it's all about the hydrangea. Let's just add that. Okay. just going to make sure that I place that back, because I'll just end up with stuff everywhere. That away. And then I'm going to grab my little bird from Quill Ends. So we've got the Quill Ends stamp set, which is 908. Have you just done, Tracy? There we go. And let's just stamp this little bird. Will he fit on that bit of card? Waste not, want not. So we just grab our little bird. There we go, it just fits on there perfectly. And I just want the bird in this, on this occasion. Just love how I can just pick different bits and pieces. Makes me happy. So, I am strange because I do like the bird sort of looking at the flower. Does that make sense? I just like that. Right, let's grab. If I put some of this stuff out the way, it would work much better, Tracy. So let's just put some there. You don't need gallons. And you can see where I'm going wrong. It needs the adhesive down here. Because you've got to see that collect beautiful moments. There we go. That's it. And let's add a little bit more of the white splatters, because I want a few splatters just on the acorn and the bird, just so that it looks like they all belong. Let's move that slightly. Talk about faff. Right, let's put some of these card bits just out of the way so that we can stamp that thing. I knew this video would take me quite a while. So what I'm going to do is just add this to my black card blank. I've got these pencils. Let's move these pencils out of the way so we can just got room then to, that's it, just roll them up. I've got them strewn all the way across the desk. That's better, gives me a lot more room. Right, so we're going to add this now to our black mat. I will definitely be doing one of the hydrangeas. In like a greeny colour, because again that means something to me because it's in my garden. Now remember, you've been using water on this card, so you have to remember just to give the adhesive time to grab, because you've got, you know, it obviously bends a little bit with the moisture that you've added when you added the grey. So if I add that to a 5x7 card blank, like so. There we go. just lift that up so I can just straighten it out a little bit. And what you can see is it just works beautifully with all of everything we've done. Just works so nicely. There we go, just so that you can see that. And it just works really nicely, just standalone on its own as well. It works really nicely. I'm just quite happy with that. So there's one, but what I'm going to do just before I go, if we bring the stamp in again, and this time we mask off the hydrangea. So you've got it as a whole stamp that you can stamp with, like you saw Janet Pring do on the shows. Now I'm masking off the hydrangea. There's a little bit there we don't want masking off. Make sure that sentiment is masked off. So you can use the whole thing. You've seen that. You've seen Janet Pring does that in the TV shows. So what we're going to do now is ink up the number 2, which I have distressed for you and added the white touches so that it's slightly distressed for you, and you don't have to worry about doing that. Okay, so I've inked that. Because it's a silhouette stamp, I've given that a really good inking. So then I'm going to remove all this. And then I'm just going to, we did remove that, didn't we? I'm then going to add the number 2 here, like so. And then what I'll do, I'll show you what my plan will be, and I will create that card, but not in this session, or else it'll just be too long a session. But I wanted to show you how you can split that up. So you can see that I'm actually giving it longer because it's a bit of a silhouette stamp. But guess what? It doesn't matter if it isn't perfect. But just lift your acrylic block just so that you get that central area, and then you can curl that stamp out. Right, so you've got a beautiful background there without the hydrangea. And what you can do then, I'm not going to do this now, but if you took the A5 stamp set, which is the hexapetalistic, and you added this bloom here, you've then got a different variation, and I'll probably do this in another video, but you've got another variation with that beautiful too. Or if you want, you can add the circle element. Oh, that looks good as well. So let me just remove this so that you can see. Take the new stamp off. So there is the flower that would appear, which looks amazing. Let me just show you this one, which is also just as fantastic. But you could also add, which I may be doing, the circle. So we'll create that in another YouTube video. So I hope that will encourage you to come back maybe, and we'll finish this card off and create this one. So we'll come back to this one and create that one. And that is your card for today. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I've really enjoyed that. I'm just going to show you the 2 cards that we're going to make in my live workshop. So the live workshop is the 25th of June. It's a Sunday, and we start at 9 o'clock, and we just carry on as long as it takes to create these 2 cards. And really, it's not about, you know, reinventing the wheel. It's literally a session about reconnecting with my followers and just having a fun time creating. So you'll be creating this card, just so that you can see this. You'll be creating this card. And you'll also be creating this card as well. The product list is in the group, but you can substitute as much as you want. And the workshop is £10. If you want to join the workshop, just leave me a message or email me. I'll leave my email address in the description. Or you can message me through Messenger on Facebook. And it's £10. And we go live in a private group on Facebook. So I hope you've enjoyed this session. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the new stamps. And I hope you'll join in on Friday, the 16th at 3 and 7. So thanks very much, everyone. Love to all. Bye for now.